so things like pacemakers and the devices that will monitor compliance with drug regimens for folks. The whole diabetes, the insulin monitors and things like all of that kind of medical device sort of situation is now starting to be more along the lines of the Internet of Things. So it's not just the fridge. Now it's the things that are going into the realm of people's healthcare and then their privacy. So when you talk about it, I mean, that's really an interesting point about security and privacy and how is this evolving, because now it is expanding into other areas besides the inanimate object that people are not so concerned about their data around that. They sure are around their health.
Back in the 50s, we had SCADA systems, right? And you've probably heard all the security stories from nuclear factories to dams to other public facilities being compromised. Is because the frameworks and security controls weren't put in place. Where we are now is we're taking SCADA systems and we're moving them to the household. And there's a great fear that if the frameworks aren't in place or immediately put in place, we're going to have a privatization of SCADA systems in everyone's home that has the ability to monitor, report, gather data, and can easily be compromised. So, I mean, you can see what happened to SCADA systems, the mistakes that were made. And I think if we don't wrap our arms around it, we're going to end up in the exact same spot, likely worse. And then to your point as well, we're not just monitoring what SCADA systems used to monitor: pressure, temperature, flow. These are things from data that's considered there's HIPAA regulation. We have PCI DSS regulation, a whole set of data points that far surpass what a typical wellhead would have been monitored under SCADA systems. So there's some grave danger there.
Really, once you authorize it to be an IP device on your network, it starts chatting, and who knows what it could do. So I'd like to actually have a conversation around security. I think, just right away, segmenting devices that are not known onto its own network that still has access to the internet, but perhaps does not have access to your corporate network, is something that we're looking at. It comes with a host of its own issues where now everything's got to get registered properly, goes into some sort of holding pattern. But I think that's the only way that we're going to have any sort of ability to sleep at night, knowing that, yes, you could bring in your own device, yes, I'll allow it, but it's not going to, if it at all needs to be on the corporate and interact in a corporate way, then you need to come talk to us. We need to look at the device and move it over into that world.
I agree. Anything, whether it's an elevator, boiler system, we're not putting it on a production network. I'll run a cable up to where that device is, pay the $75 a month, and keep that completely separate from our network. They've already showed proof of concepts of those Nest devices being compromised by ransomware. So if you have people in elevators and that device gets compromised and that shuts down, if you have buildings where they can set the temperature to a specific level and get compromised and not be able to access that, it's a huge potential and a huge threat that we're seeing on our side.